Our Book Goes Season 3, Episode 6, The Land of Lies has just finished, and you know what we do. We jump straight into the spoilers. So leave a like, comment, subscribe, and come back after you finish the episode. We're going to dive into everything that happened, talk about the breakdown, talk about predictions and plot points they showed us, and everything that's going to happen from this point forward. Let's get into it. So first we got to talk about trio, Tariq, Effie, Brayden. Everything I predicted before the show started, before the season started, and also in the last episode review finally happened. We got all the clips from the trailer of Tariq and Brayden's fight. We also got the video of him confronting Effie about everything that's happened. He pulled up to where she dumped Lauren into the water. So we got all that. He knows everything. He's completely done with both of them. He even kicked them out of selling the product. He didn't let them into the warehouse, and he's just overtaken with anger at this point. Now, with this being revealed and happening, I'll put the clips of everything that happened on the screen. I more so want to talk about what can come from it and what I believe will come from this. Now, first of all, we already been seeing Kane and Effie, or at least Kane attempt to get as close to Effie as possible. And after what happened in this episode with Tariq being mad and going to sleep with Diana, I'm pretty sure Kane and Effie is going to happen at some point or later. And Kane even offered this episode to give her some product on the side, and Tariq doesn't have to know. So that's very important as well. And then it was to the point where Effie almost even pulled out a gun on Reek, and he didn't even want to hurt her. So their relationship definitely will be hard to mend, especially after she's seen him and Diana slept together. So they're completely done. And that brings me to another prediction I had. I had a prediction since season 1 of Book Ghost that Tariq was going to get one of the 3 girls pregnant, and I always said it would be Diana because she ties in with the most characters. She's the most innocent, and Lauren is like his Angela, so he wouldn't get her pregnant. Effie is too into the game, and I always thought it would just be Diana. He'll always have ties to Kane, etc. And now in this episode, Diana has slept with both whatever that dude name is. I don't like his character, can't remember his name, don't really care, but she slept with him and Tariq in this episode. So I think she's gonna get pregnant, but we'll talk about that when we get to the Tajeda part. That's very interesting. I know we'll talk about that when we get to the Tajedas, but until then, let's get back to Tariq, Effie, and Brayden. So also in this episode, Effie found out about Reek and Diana because she wanted her and Diana to move product throughout the schools, throughout the candy store, etc. And she wasn't going for it. But she specifically told her not to tell Reek. So they literally want no parts with one another. And that divide is just going to push her closer towards Kane, which every divide with Tariq does. As we seen in this episode as well, Kane, after finding out Tariq pushed Effie and Brayden out the business, he went to talk to Brayden to get him to go at Reek. So Brayden completely cut off Reek from Western Holdings. He lost his internship. He couldn't get into the building and everything like that. And Brayden basically told him, I'm an equal partner into this. I bring as much to this game as you. So I know what I did was wrong, but you're going to respect me like a partner. So they got back kind of cool by the end of the episode. He still doesn't really trust him, but he knows he has to work with him. And I also made that a prediction when Tariq found out about Effie, that he'll be mad at Brayden. We seen him punch him, them getting that fight, but he will understand because that's the game, and Brayden still is the closest person he has left, especially because in this episode, he finally sent his grandmother away to be with his mom and Yaz because she felt so lonely and she just needed something. So he finally sent her away, and now Brayden is easily the closest person he has left, even after all that betrayal. So Tariq and Effie are at odds. Him and Brayden are cordial. They're just more business partners working together, but he completely cut Effie off, and she also saw him sleeping with Diana. But that was the main plot point of those 3 characters in this episode. Let's move on to the Tajedas because we have a lot to talk about there as well. So we know at the end of episode 5, Monet killed off Lorenzo and the kids don't know about it. And this is another perfect prediction I made. I'm telling you guys, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I know what I'm talking about. I said once Lorenzo died, the family will be more torn apart than ever, and I predicted every character's course of action perfectly. I said Diana will want to fully be out the game, away from her family. That's not the life she want, and she even said to Tariq in this episode, the last thing her dad told her was to get out. So that's what she's gonna do. I said Drew will be unhinged, going off the circuit because his dad wanted him to step into the role of being a new leader, and that's what he would try to enforce. And he did that in this episode. He went after the Russians, even though the Russians weren't the one who killed Lorenzo, and they spin back on him at the funeral, which was just a crazy scene. I'll try to show it in this video, but that was just wild and crazy. And I said Kane is looking like the most calm person in this show at this point. In this episode, he was the only one not on bullshit, and that's saying a lot about every other character. If Kane Tajeda is the one that is calm, cool, collected, and putting two and two together. He realized Monet might have had something to do with Lorenzo. He pointed it out, she denied it, and that's just going to stir up so much with this family. Also in this episode, I talked about Diana sleeping with Tariq. She slept with Tariq and that other guy in this episode. I truly believe by the end of the season, Diana will be pregnant, and I think it will be Tariq's. And that's just smart moves by the writers if they really do that, and I hope they do. But I really think she's going to do that. And also, I wanted to talk about this in the law enforcement and Lauren section, but I got to throw this here because it's part of the Tajeda family, and I want to make another prediction. So Tariq gave Diana the codes to put the drugs into the school roof, into the walls, and they added cameras out there. So Blanca and Jenny has her on camera with the drugs, and I think what will happen is Diana will find out Monet has something to do with Lorenzo's death, and she'd be willing to turn over Monet for herself because they already been at odds since season 1. And also, if she is pregnant, like I predict that will happen, she'll definitely be able to do that. Now, I initially thought she would turn over Monet to Noma because we know Noma is still looking for Mecca's killer, and that was Monet. But these are one or two options that can happen. She could turn her in to Jenny and Blanca, or she could turn her into Noma, and I definitely think one of those will happen because she was the closest to Lorenzo, and she would not let that slide. So right now, we got Monet trying to lay low, act like she didn't have nothing to do with Lorenzo. We have Drew unhinged, going on a rampage. Now he has the family in a war with the Russians. We have Kane being the calm, cool, collected one, and we have Diana kind of lost. She know what she wants to do, but it's easier said than done. So we'll see what goes on with that. I have some more predictions, but now we have to jump into Lauren and law enforcement in this episode. Now, I already pointed out how they got Diana on camera storing the drugs, Jenny and Blanca, and obviously they're going to try to use this as some sort of leverage to get her to flip on everyone else. But I think she would try to target specific people that she wouldn't mind turning on because she doesn't want to be in his life anyway, especially if my prediction comes true. So they got this information on her, which is perfect for them because they don't have anything else. They're shit out of luck. They're about to lose Lauren. They already Whitman died. Sax is on the outs with Jenny right now. So they needed this vital piece of information to get back at something, to grasp at anything to bring down this RICO organization. Also in this episode, we got Lauren talking to Jenny, telling her she told her it was Effie. She's not trying to go at Reek. And we got a conversation specifically between Lauren and Sax where he told her once again he does not believe Tariq had anything to do with trying to kill her, but that Tariq is a monster. Everything that happened at Stansfield, Tariq did it. The dead guy in the pool, Jabari Randall, all the drugs, it was Tariq. Said how he was raised this way by his father, by his mother. He got his sister killed. He sold drugs before he ever hit high school, and we don't know yet what Lauren's decision would be, but this was a lot of information to make her consider testifying once again against Reek. But Reek does know she's alive, does know a case is against him, and does know she is the informant. So with her telling him that information, I still don't believe she will go out her way to testify against Tariq. But Sax was definitely compelling in this scene. Now, making a prediction for Lauren and in her situation is tricky because, like I said, I don't think she she will testify against Reek. We don't know that is a possibility. But the problem is no one knows she's alive except Reek, Jenny, and them. So her family, her parents, she couldn't even go back to them and tell them she's alive. So the problem is if Effie or Brayden or Kane or any of these people was to find out she was alive and that Reek was keeping this from her, they could possibly try to take her out and kill her again. So she really doesn't have too many options, and especially if she doesn't decide to do this, it's not like she could just ever go back to her normal life. So I don't really have any predictions for this. I'm just very interested to see how this whole Lauren situation plays out and what Tariq decides to do, especially because he knows Lauren is alive, yet they didn't make any contact in this episode. I think she texted him once, but other than that, we need some more conversation. They need to come up with a plan, something. I'm just interested to see what happens. But overall, that's it. This was a pretty good episode. We got a lot of lies brought to the forefront. We got a war started with the Russians because of Drew. It's just a lot going on. And in episode 7, 8, 9, 10, we are going to see some bangers. Like, they're going to put it all on the line. And you know how the last 3 to 4 episodes of Power goes. Literally, all feel like season finales. Even episode 5 last week felt like a season finale. This episode felt like more of a build-up, and they're gonna lay it all out on the line, and I can't wait to see what happens. So like I said, leave a like, comment, subscribe for everything Power Universe, and I'm out.